Who do you say that I am? What is the identity that you keep selecting and unconsciously fusing with that pushes out into your current reality, creating the circumstances of the life that you're seeing now? Whether it's with your SP, with your career, money, all of it. Okay? That's the question I want you guys to think about during the video today. All right? Today I have 3 massive success stories for you to go into. The first one is on SP, the second one is on career, and the third one is just on general knowing yourself and truly going into and living the life of your dreams. Okay? Before I start, welcome back to ZAKARI, HIKARI. My name is Zach, and here we discuss everything related to manifestation, conscious manifestation, higher consciousness, Neville Goddard, the law of assumption. Before we start, if you guys want somebody who can actually hold up a mirror and identify where your awareness is without you even realizing it below the light of consciousness, so you can bring it to the light of consciousness, see it for what it is, let it go, and choose again. All my information is down below. It is what I absolutely love more than anything, is to help you guys uncover those blind spots and move into the life of your dreams. Okay? Now, before I start, these 3 success stories, I posted all of them on my Instagram in the stories. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm not as active. I when I feel inspired to, I'll hop on there, but I try, I don't want to be on Instagram all the time. YouTube's the main place. But sometimes it's just easier to post the success stories in the Instagram stories rather than do a whole community post. So if you guys aren't following me and want to see some, success stories here and there, feel free to follow me there. I posted the first 2. The third one is an email I got today. I haven't posted it yet. I'll probably post it after I post this video. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. But let's just hop into it. Okay. So the first success story is from a client. This was a DM, and this is an SP situation. This is the big SP success. Okay. So, dude, that was freaking awesome. Honestly, I have had coaching in the past, but it was nothing like that call. Thank you so much. He texted me during our call and asked me if I want to do a double date with another couple at the end of the month too. All good. Okay. Second one, this is the career success, and dude, they all start with dude. No, the first 2 start with dude, but that's how I talk, so maybe that's what people are picking up on from the East Coast. Dude, in all capital letters, I literally cannot stop getting praised at my new job every single day by everyone. Both of the managers I report to keep saying how I am a godsend and that it was divine intervention that I am on their team. I get so much praise, I'm even like, dude, there are only so many ways I can say thank you. I love the compliments, but I might need them to chill a tiny bit. I've been wanting a raise even though I'm only 3 weeks in, but honestly, I already have it at this point. Okay? And then the third success is one that I haven't posted yet, but it's an email I got this morning, my time, entitled Life is Great. Okay? So I'm just going to read it as it is. Hey, Zach, it's been a while, and I just wanted to update you on my life now. Where I am now is 1,000,000 miles from where I was when we spoke. You may not remember, but I wanted to get a new job, have enough money, and reunite with my SP, and then in parentheses they put desperately. Well, I have the job, which gives me a great lifestyle and good money. I am so happy and positive every day. I laugh at all the little thought transmissions and coincidences, knowing that I am the cause of it all. You are right about the SP too. I no longer seem to want him. I have rediscovered my worth and am actively dating, having a great time. People seem to be drawn to me, and I receive compliments every day. I know that if I want it, my old SP would come running. It's because of you, I finally understand that I create everything based on who I am conscious of being, and it is fabulous. I am so happy and positive all the time, love my life, and love who I am. Thank you so much. You really saved me. I still follow you. I am a whole new person with more love than you could possibly understand. And then they put their name. Okay. So, guys, I know on my channel, it's a little bit different because I've been on this journey, and my whole point of this channel, of what I wanted to create for you guys, is to really understand how this all works. Okay. And I know there's a lot of, I get the comments. I got a comment the other day, I think it was either this morning or yesterday, where somebody said, well, I keep affirming and then I just keep getting these thoughts and it keeps flooding me and I keep feeling like I'm stuck, and just like, that's where identity is so important. You are free to choose any identity, anyone. You are not limited. You are an absolutely unlimited, eternal point of consciousness existing in infinite different realities in all time as energetic potential. And through your focused awareness and conviction of being, you collapse time-space into one 3D experienced reality of the holographic illusion that is coming out of you. Okay? But, and this is the big but, is that most people, they don't see that they have this one identity that they're fused with. So you see it in your life. You look around you see people, they'll go to a therapist and, keep trying to unravel the one thing that they went through, or they'll take medication, trying to calm their nerves and anxiety and going through this and, dealing with and masking the problems. Or they'll go out and self-medicate or do other things in order to take their mind off of even having to be aware of anything at all. And you see it in society, at least, I don't want to put a limiting belief out there, but the 3D illusion of the mass unconsciousness, not mass consciousness, mass unconsciousness, is what you see reflected out there, right? It's in everything. And as you start to awaken to this knowledge and you start to see your life transform, you start to see the shadows even louder, right? It seems like the whole world can be sometimes like going a little haywire and crazy because you're awakening to who you really are. Your light is shining brighter. Okay? So I want to start with that, and I want to go into a few quotes from some of the spiritual greats and then unpack a little bit more about these clients. Okay? So let's start with good old Neville, my favorite, right? This is from At Your Command. So, to be conscious of being is to be alive. And to be conscious of being something in particular is to be that which you are conscious of being. And the next one is from The Power of Awareness. You can never transcend your present conception of yourself until you imagine yourself greater than you are. Joseph Murphy, from The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. You must become the thing you want to be before you can draw it to you. Another one from The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Your subconscious mind takes the orders you give it based upon what you believe about yourself. And if you've watched me long enough, you know that I'm not a big proponent of dividing things between the conscious and the subconscious and trying to make it like this big eternal battle between like all these different minds. But it's just understanding who you assume you are is usually below the light of your conscious awareness. You're not aware of it. And they'll say the subconscious mind as if it's something you have to reprogram. I don't play that game. Okay? You figure out what it is, you let it go, you choose again. Okay? Bashar, circumstances don't matter, only state of being matters. Bashar Live, the formula, this is from 2014. And state of being, again, who you are identified as. All right? Your being. Rama's playing downstairs, I can hear him. Every single thing is a reflection of who you are, being. Nothing more, nothing less. Bashar, The 5 Universal Laws from 1999. This is from Seth through Jane Roberts. You create your reality according to your beliefs, yours and no one else's. The Nature of Personal Reality, that's from 1974. And yours and no one else's, but you can take on, obviously, the mass unconscious beliefs of all the different labels out there, from astrology to tarot to this to personality types and attachment styles and all that. You form the fabric of your experience through your own identity and the pattern of your experience through your own beliefs. That's from The Nature of Personal Reality, 1974. Okay, so let's go into the clients and understand a little bit more about why they were able to actually shift. So the first client, he had a lot of stories going on that he wasn't even aware of. And the stories weren't even necessarily, if you go back to, once again, the levels of, I know it's faded at this point, but I just don't want to erase it because I just love this board so much. But if you go back to the levels of creation that I talk about in a lot of my videos, right? You have core assumptions and beliefs about how you view the world and reality. And while this fits into linear time, which is more linear and limited as far as those beliefs, you also have like thoughts and assumptions and beliefs that are even more limited and linear, and you're not even understanding what those are. So whether it's, the dating pool of who you claim yourself to be, or, where you live, or the socioeconomic situation that you're fused with, or whatever the perceived history that you think that you are, And that's why you attract certain people, or the stories you're telling yourself, or the meta awareness, right? This client understood a lot of the concepts, but was having a really difficult time actually implementing them and seeing where the little switches were of why they weren't making those connections, right? That was keeping the SP away. Or when the SP came back, they started having these panic attacks and going into all this worry that they were going to mess it up again, or that, what happened when they weren't here, or, what's the story that was going on over here, or what if they lose them again, or what if this happens or that happens. And we were able to really look at the stories they were holding on to, that identity, and saying, oh my God, I've always perceived myself to be somebody who couldn't be loved. I couldn't be worthy of love. I couldn't actually feel like I had a connection to anybody my entire life. And because of that, and because that's how I perceived love to be, in all of these relationships that I've had up until this point, when I finally found somebody that I really did feel that strong pull and attraction to, they disappeared. They left, right? I created that experience because I was so used to love being something that was fragile and left my world, that I literally recreated that same experience in my life again and again and again. And then when I finally found someone that I really, really, really care about, they started to create that same, pattern of having left and being out there, and then, eventually coming back, and I didn't know how to handle it. And once they realized, oh my God, it's actually, I'm safe in this situation. I'm safe to identify as this person. It's okay. And we worked together to look at where those blocks, I don't even like the word blocks, but you know what I'm trying to say, like where those assumptions were, what they were actually fused with from an identity standpoint, and then choosing again, walking through from their specific experience, their specific memories, their specific timeline, and looking at, oh, wait a second, I don't want to choose this anymore. I don't want to drag this along anymore. That's not what because this identity of who I am doesn't exist in this reality. And this is where, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience, I know how hard it is when you're trying to imagine and use the law, but you're imagining as the person who is the identity that wouldn't be in that end anyways. You know what I mean? So that's why it feels like you're like, swimming upstream of imagination when you have all these battling opposite assumptions or thoughts or whatever else, anxieties and feelings and all this stuff coming at you. And that's why you can't maintain the assumption. You're not maintaining the awareness, right? And I know there's a lot of confusion and a lot of, people out there say, well, just assume it anyways. Just assume. Yes, that is very true. It's a law of assumption. But if you're assuming as somebody and you're assuming yourself to be somebody different, you're not really holding on to that reality, because you're still assuming from the place of not having or not being, or the person who wouldn't actually be living that reality. So it's going to feel so much more difficult to actually step into that. And once this person was able to see all the baggage, all the assumptions, I was able to walk them through it. During the call, the SP reached out. Now they have a double date. They're already talking about getting married. They're already planning the how they're going to plan this whole wedding and everything else going on. And it just went from point A to point Z in a matter of days, because he was able to actually look at who he was being, guys. This is why I'm so heavy on identity, because once you become that person, everything just lines up for you. The second client with the work situation, we went really deep on this client. He had this whole story. It's a story that keeps repeating in his life of not being chosen, or other people being chosen over him, or not being valued, right? And not being noticed, and not being the person who actually is adding to anything, just kind of being invisible like a wallflower, right? And when he actually was able to look at where that came from, what he was holding on to, and start choosing different awarenesses, which again was it's a very individualistic process. But when he was able to do that, boom, he went from a job that he really did not like to a new job where they're immediately just all over him and just giving him all this attention and love and praise and saying that you're a literal godsend. And it was divine intervention. Notice the choice of words that they used. Literally, because you are reality, you're going to see that when you move, everything moves around that identity. And then from there, you're just imagining freely because you're already merged as that person. Or and even the word merged makes it seem too, 3D specific, but you're identified as that person. So you're naturally going to be assuming, to that end. And then the third client who realized that, and I talk about this a lot and it's kind of controversial, but I say this all the time. Oftentimes, and this is from my own personal experience, okay? And this was something that I did not want to hear. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but does this mean I can't have my SP? No, that is not the message here, okay? But oftentimes, if you understand that the version of this person that you have created or attracted or manifested or whatever word you want to use, that you drew them into your life, okay? From the identity of somebody who viewed love to be this, and you keep recreating that pattern in your romantic relationships, when you revalue yourself, as Neville talks about, revalue yourself and the world in which you live will automatically rearrange. That's not the exact quote, but you know what I mean. When you actually revalue who you are, oftentimes you're going to feel you're not going to even be attracted to that person, even though you could see them differently. You could absolutely see them differently. 100% you could see them differently if you wanted to, but oftentimes the desire for that person, you realize that that person was really the step to you understanding your power, and the other person that you really would, is just waiting in the wings for you to step into that identity. They're just going to swoop in like that. And that's from my own personal experience of how I manifested my own boyfriend. And if you see, you can see right there how I manifested the love of my life. I'll link it above. Probably it's going to be on the opposite side because I always mess that part up. But I talk about that because I realized it was never about the SP. It was about me and who I was fused with and who I was identified as. And when I started imagining from that perspective, he showed up the next day. Okay? That's what you're after. And Neville, this is really because people say, well, can you manifest an SP? Can you not manifest an SP? And Neville always talks about, he said that you're not after the SP or the actual person. You're after the state of the relationship. And sometimes that state of the relationship, you can only know. And you get to choose. I'm not going to say you can't have an SP, but that desperate need for the SP is why they're not here and why you keep seeing the same loop, right? And when this person stepped into their new identity and just realized, oh my God, I'm reality. I can choose any version of me. I can actually start to play with this and have fun and let things flow and be easy and not have to keep recreating the same thing again and again and again and go through the same loops again and again and again. Right? They were able to actually shift in and let that identity stabilize. So it started reflecting out on the 3D, screen of time and space. And then they could use the law of assumption easily and effortlessly because they were actually identified as a person who could. So it just becomes free, right? It's not about I think, you see me, I try to come on this channel and give you guys a lot of tough love. This video, it's not so tough. This is the loving, the great loving energy and blah, 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 blah. But the reason I'm so tough on this channel is because Abdullah was tough on Neville, right? Like Abdullah slammed the door in his face. Abdullah was not nice and didn't walk him through these principles, saying okay, yeah, let's be all lovey-dovey and this and that. Because I wish when I was going through this journey that I had someone who was a little bit tougher on me. Because someone said the other day, I love how tough you are on these people because it actually does, that's what people need to hear. Because when it's just lovey-dovey, whatever else, it's not actually cutting through the noise and getting to the core of your identity to see who you're actually being and how you can truly assume differently. And again, for the commenters who are saying, well, just walk us through the process. It's not a step-by-step process. Every single one of these people had a separate personal call. But it's not about that. It's about, you could just literally, who are you being? Who are you I-aming yourself to be, guys? Right? What does your life look like? If you need a clue as to who you're identified as, take an inventory of your entire life and look at what's reflecting back to you. And that reflection has the answer to everything. It has the answer to who you're identified as because it's a direct mirror of your beliefs. But oftentimes, what I've noticed is it's really hard. It was really hard for me. It was really hard for me to make the connection between what you're seeing out there, the beliefs and assumptions that you're holding about yourself, the identity that you're fused with, and how it actually connects together to recreate those circumstances. When you see it, you can't unsee it. right? And sometimes you'll see it and then you have trouble, stabilizing that new identity, and you still kind of, quote unquote, create this experience of falling out and struggling and this and that and the other thing. But it's never that hard, guys. It's always about awareness, being aware of what you're not aware you're aware of. One day I'm going to be quoted for saying that. Being aware of what you're aware you're not aware that you're aware of. Right? Like, that's what's creating this entire reality, because it's your own holographic projection being reflected back to you in the moment of now, in all time. Past, present, and future, from this one eternal moment of now that goes on forever and ever and ever. And just like the first client, he realized, I had these assumptions about my SP. And I was having these assumptions about my SP because I was assuming this about myself. And I was assuming this about myself because I was assuming this about the world. And I was assuming this about the world because I was assuming this about this. And it just all started to unravel very quickly. And then within the same call, the SP, was just waiting there, already looking to make plans, already looking to go to the end of that relationship. And this person had spent months in separation. They had spent months broken up, right? The second client was we've had a few calls by now, and he really was not feeling as inspired in his life, and he was feeling stuck in the same day-to-day, wanting that freedom and love and satisfaction of doing something with work. And he didn't get that until he did. And then it's like, oh my God. And he's now seeing this from a lot of other aspects of his life as well, with previous SPs coming back to him. But that's a separate success altogether from his side. And the third client, who just went from this desperate needing energy state to just being completely free, right? Because it's never, I want you guys to really hear this. SP success is never about the SP. And that's what a lot of people don't want to talk about. It's about you. Who are you saying that you are? And from that identity of who you say you are, why does your SP, that version out of all the infinite versions of your SP, why is that the one that's reflecting back to you right now? And that's always tied directly to your identity, who you unconsciously or consciously believe yourself to be. Because that's what pushes out in reality. You can choose any identity. That's never not been my message. But my message is, you keep being pulled back to this one identity unconsciously without even seeing it. And once you see it, you don't have to identify as it anymore. But you just got to see the nitty gritty of it. See it in all of its entirety. As Neville says, you take a uncritical look at who you've been being. I should have prepared that quote, but it's you take an uncritical look at your state of consciousness of who you've been assuming yourself to be. And from there, you can choose again. Neville's own words, guys. Right? So, this was a freestyle video today. I just felt inspired, and I wanted to just share the love and come on and say hi to you guys, and just give you guys, for all you SP people out there who are feeling hopeless, or you're stuck, or you're going in circles, or you keep manifesting the same thing over and over again, or you keep manifesting the same versions of people again and again and again. There's a reason, and the reason is you. Okay, so if you guys want help with that, and you want someone to hold up the mirror, get to the bottom of it, and help you shift it, I'm always here. Okay, but again, who do you say that I am? All right, I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Okay, you got this. Nothing is final. Everything is you, and you are absolutely whole and complete. And I'm just assuming you're living the life of your dreams now. Okay. All right. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.